My name's Stephen Friel and I am the owner of Friel Consulting. Friel Consulting is a training and business consultancy based in the northwest of Ireland, and I've been operational from 2004, so 18 years. I think prior to the pandemic, to be honest, I wasn't ready for something like this. I had been trading successfully for 16, 17 years up to that point. I had a successful business. I had steady income streams. I had a way of doing things that I was set in my ways, and I hadn't anticipated what was required whenever the pandemic arrived, so to speak. Absolutely, I had to transform my business model. The majority of my income was generated via training and in-person training prior to the pandemic, so obviously there was a need then to move to an online model, which was a complete sea change for me and my business. The key digital tools that I would have used throughout the pandemic would have been video conferencing, solutions such as Microsoft Teams and Zoom. I found these priceless. Obviously, being a training entity, I found them excellent. I was still able to impart the same level of knowledge. Perhaps the downside is that I would teach things like sales, so there wasn't the same degree of interpersonal dynamics, and that was missing. However, for things like reviewing documentations, even now post-pandemic, I would still use them. I think they're fantastic, and my business didn't suffer. Indeed, if anything, my business thrived throughout the pandemic because of these tools, so I found them priceless. The pandemic, actually, for Friel Consulting was a time of considerable growth. The pandemic obviously brought about huge challenges for lots of businesses, and the nature of my consultancy is such that I work predominantly for statutory agencies and government entities that help businesses. Therefore, they were greatly in need of assistance during the pandemic, and Friel Consulting benefited from that. So for that reason, there was an upsurge in turnover, coupled with the fact that by using Zoom and Teams and such like, I wasn't incurring the same costs. I now was having meetings with people in Belfast and Galway and different regions without ever leaving my house. So there was a cost saving there as well, in addition to the increase in demand for my services. So I think the business landscape has certainly changed in respect of whether or not my business is more competitive. I think I am much more agile and much more able to deal with a larger target audience, and indeed I would now proffer my services beyond what I would have done in the past geographically. The downside, I suppose, is that conversely other consultancies and training entities whom I wouldn't have considered competition in the past are now able to compete in what was formerly my territory, so to speak. So that has been challenging, but that's just competition. I suppose that's capitalism. The crisis itself was an opportunity for me. I certainly seen my business morph and change and improve, and by embracing the technologies that I've mentioned earlier, I undoubtedly seen an upturn in business. That said, by virtue of the type of business that I am in, witnessed firsthand some businesses, for example in the catering industry, restaurants, hotels and such like, that were really decimated by nature of the services they offered, and there wasn't an alternative because of the high level of people interaction and such like. So absolutely there was an opportunity there, and I'm very thankful that the technology and the software and the applications existed that I was able to capitalise on. Without them, my business would have been decimated.